which one's the second one? No, but of all seriousness, the Nintendo Switch 2 released today, as I'm recording this, June 5th. Picked mine up at the midnight release at Best Buy. I figured I'd give my first impressions on it, as I have had every model besides the Switch Lite, which pretty much just that model without the TV and stuff, so I figured I'd skip past that one. Turn off, the box is very small. Pack this thing full to the brim, and I'll just put this guy into the picture now. Yeah, it's quite a bit larger than the other ones, which I actually personally like as far as the Joy-Cons go, and because it's easier to hold, right? You know, you got a more sturdy grip, fills up the hands better, and it just feels a little bit more luxurious. Here we have my first model. This I got back in 2018 for Christmas. This is the original Nintendo Switch. See, it has smudges all over it. It has seen better days. The second pair of Joy-Cons I had for it, as you can tell, this isn't the original left and right because they got drift on them. So yeah, that is one thing I was not too fond about with the original Switch, was the Joy-Con drift. But you can tell I've used this one quite a bit. It's got so much on it. Definitely not like terrible condition, especially for having it since 2018. But yeah, this was my primary guy until I got the OLED just a few years ago. That would be this one. This thing pretty much still looks brand new. It's the Splatoon 3 edition with the Mario Odyssey Red Joy-Cons. And then, of course, the new guy, the Switch 2, which is what we're here to see about. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to move these two off of the screen because, yeah, today is all about the Nintendo Switch 2. They have a kickstand. It is a lot more versatile now, opposed to the, well, the OLED is just a bigger version, but it's not hollowed out like this one is. And then the original Switch has this dinky-ass kickstand that can be removed easily, but if you don't have a hard surface like this, as you can imagine, it just falls over, versus like even with the OLED, you have quite a bit better of a stand. The Switch 2 is going to be no different here, being a whole lot more sturdy than before, and also not having just one angle but several that you could tilt it at. So big props to Nintendo there. Yeah, Mario Kart World was the game I picked up on launch. This game's pretty fun. I like the Battle Royale style mode they have in it. You'll probably see a bunch of gameplay of that of me and my friends. They came over and we hung out and played a little bit. So far, the impressions of the Switch are pretty good. I enjoy it. It does feel like a next generation console for me. It is very powerful, especially like playing something like Tears of the Kingdom on this thing. Is leagues different than the original Switch. Looks a lot better, frame rates are a lot better. Someone like me who plays PC games, it's very much appreciated. And even the Mario Kart looks better than 8, like graphically, which I still thought 8 looked really, really good even for now. And this one kind of blew me away. You had a rail system that you would just slide the Joy-Con onto, if I could do this. Click it into place. There's this one, they're now magnets. So there's a little button you press on the back here. Pops it out, you can just yank it. There's a little chip inside there, but these two buttons are magnets, and you literally just put it up. They kind of just jump in there. And it feels really nice and premium. You have a USB-C port on the top and the bottom, so for the dock one, and then also in the case you want to charge, like if you're using it in tabletop mode. You have a micro SD express card behind the SD card reader. I did not get one because this has 128 gigabytes of storage, which I plan on buying most of my games physically, and I'm not even using that much of it right now, even with my digital games installed. So we'll see. I'll end up getting one down the line probably, but overall, that's pretty much it. I got a screen protector for this. I got the Pro controller. Looks very much like the previous one. Here I have my original Pro controller as well, but they look pretty much identical. The new one isn't translucent anymore and has a white top, and instead of being on the bottom there with the little players, they're on the top. I might give a little audio test here. A lot louder on the original one. This is very soft. It feels just a lot more premium. I like the feel of this controller a lot better. I also have two little buttons on the back here, which is really cool. I find myself using it like Mario Kart whenever I decide to look behind me or whatever. But really, that's all the new stuff I got on the launch. The Nintendo Switch itself, like I said, it's very much larger. It has an LCD screen opposed to OLED this time, but it's a good looking LCD, very responsive. The mouse controls I've kind of diddled around with. Those are cool. That's really all that is when it comes to actually tech specifications. I think it's going to be very good. I'm looking forward to Elden Ring. It's very capable. Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be a big one that I play on this guy portably. And I just look forward to playing through Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom again in the higher frame rates and better resolutions, as it'll look a lot more fun, or look a lot cooler, a lot better. I'm hoping Arkham Knight gets a patch because it sucks on Switch, and it gets better frame rates on the Switch too, but it still looks like absolute buns. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much everything's pretty straightforward. It's just the Nintendo Switch again, but the second one. Crazy how that works, right? The game carts are still at the top. They're red this time around, but you have a little metal thing here, and it feels a lot more robust and sturdy and like it's going to stay in there, which I like quite a bit more. And the speakers on this thing are very nice. The cooling's very good. It does get a little warm when I've been playing Mario Kart at 4K, but you know, what can you do with that? You got your chat button here, which will open up your game chat stuff. That's pretty much it as far as the handheld goes. I mean, here, I'll boot up a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom and give some thoughts while I'm just kind of dicking around on it. But as we're loading in, just kind of want to talk about the midnight launch experience. I've never been to one. It's the first console I've had at day one. I went to my local Best Buy because I had a pre-order to pick up. I got in line at 7:30ish, and it was a little early. No one was in the pre-order line. There were about 15 people in the normal just try to store purchase line, just trying to pick it up that day. Yeah, so I got there at 7:30. It was a very short line. I was the first in line for the pre-orders. No one else came till about 9, so an hour before the event. That was really cool. So I was the first one to go in and get my Switch from that Best Buy, as you can imagine. That was a pretty fun experience. I have some footage here. Here's me like picking it up, for example. That was really fun. We had a bunch of people in there, some Nintendo music playing. And then also here's the line, quite a few people. Best Buy was selling all their consoles that night, so they had a pretty successful launch. There was quite a few people there. I wasn't expecting that many for the pre-orders to show up on the midnight launch like me. For a second there, I thought I was going to be the only one. No, I waited in line with Jake and played some Smash Bros to kill the time. I was talking to the employees, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, once I got the console, we drove it back home, we unboxed it, set up, and I started streaming a little bit, and we played some Mario Kart World, and by some I mean like 3 hours worth. The gameplay is very addicting. The Battle Royale mode goes. I really like that. The Grand Prix are pretty much the same deal, just new maps. And the open world stuff, the free roam's not really my forte. It feels kind of boring and barren, but if you're down to explore, just drive around, maybe put on some music, but that would be a lot of fun as well. So I'm going to be playing a lot of online with that Mario Kart in the next coming days, as well as just playing some Tears of the Kingdom probably again, because it's been since release month since I played this game. I think 70 hours to it. I beat it, got some shrines done, and I never really revisited it, but with how it looks now and runs, I really want to, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I didn't get Cyberpunk just because I don't know, the game doesn't interest me a whole lot. I might get it at some point. I'm probably going to get Donkey Kong next month, and I plan on getting Final Fantasy VII when it comes out because I want to play that game portably. That'll be very fun. That'll be a very cool thing to see as I played that through on PS5 in performance mode. But yeah, so far the Nintendo Switch looking really dope. Big, nice LCD screen with HDR support. Very smooth. The controllers, the Joy-Cons especially, just feel so nice. Like, real quick, if I take them both off here, so much easier to take off, by the way. I put them here and I grabbed the Joy-Con grip. Here's the new one, which is just a little grip without the edges. For example, here's the old one. The grip's wrapped around a little bit more because they were slide in, but it's actually quite a bit bigger. Here, it's kind of hard to do this looking through the camera. Slap in there. I really should, yeah, I need to look at the controller to do it. Slap in there. Here you got a nice sleek looking design. It's a lot bigger. It actually feels pretty good in the hands. Like, this would be a pretty good solution. You don't really need the Pro Controller at all, which is really nice. Of course, the Pro Controller is very nice. I really like these accents on the Joy-Cons because it reminds me of the original Neon release, which is exactly what they were going for. And yeah, pretty much exactly what you would expect it to be, just a better version of the Nintendo Switch that can play more powerful games. The battery life, I haven't done too much with. I've heard it's 2 to 6.5 hours, so it's actually a little worse than the original Switch even. A game like Tears of the Kingdom, it was at 87 when I put it out. I've been playing it just for a few minutes now. It's already down to 83, so I bet this upgrade pack, Tears of the Kingdom, only lasts about 2 hours. It was a little bummer because like you can play Tears of the Kingdom for like 5 hours on the OLED. My thoughts are I really like the system. I'm very excited to own one on day one. I think it's going to be very promising. It's going to have a long life just like the last one, and necessarily you don't need to pick it up day one like I did unless you really like Mario Kart or these Zelda games, and maybe even you want to play Cyberpunk on the go and you don't want a Steam Deck, right? The next coming years, as more and more games launch for it, I think it's gonna get a huge library just like the Switch, not to mention it already has all the Switch's games, so it's kind of a lame first impressions video because it's nothing really brand new. Like, it's not too different from the original Switch. And this guy on the menus almost look the exact same. You look at this menu and you look at this menu and they're slightly different, but pretty much the exact same. Can't really do too much about it. This is a lot brighter right now. The OLED definitely has better contrast than the LCD. There's no denying that. Honestly, the LCD is very impressive for what it is with an HDR display. I don't got much else to say about it besides that. This one was a short video today. I just kind of want to get my thoughts out there and share some of my midnight launch experience. Very glad I went to Best Buy for it. It was very fun. It was awesome. It was a good environment. Talked to some people there. Got to walk out and go home fairly easy. Everyone was on top of it. And yeah, they even had extra stock, so that was really cool. Yeah, if you're thinking about getting a Switch 2, I definitely recommend it. It's very fun. Mario Kart is a must-buy, of course. And then I love Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, so seeing them run better is just all the more merry. One last time, I'll pop it in for you. I'll look at the screen though. No, I'm not. Okay, there we are. There's one. Just like that. Kind of jumps in there. You don't really do much. It's magnets. And yeah, it's ready to go. It's very comfortable. I will be playing a lot more handheld because it doesn't cramp my hands this time around. The Switch 2 is very exciting, and I am very much looking forward to the future it has with it. And it's a sleek console. Will there be a Switch 2 OLED probably at some point? Yes. Can't really go wrong on day one. Got tons of games to play still and a bunch of fun stuff to do. So one thing I do want to mention is that the controllers on the old ones work on the new ones wirelessly. Of course, you can't really attach these to the console because they're not made for it. But yeah, you can wirelessly pair the controllers to the new one, and you can use them for all the Switch 2 games, which is very nice. You don't have to replace all your accessories. If you don't want to buy the new Pro controller because you already have one for the original Switch, you can, and it'll work just fine and everything. There'll be no problem. You won't have your chat button, but that's the only thing. Other than that, there's no difference between them. So overall thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. Awesome console. It's very promising right now. I look forward to all the games that are going to come out for it, such as Donkey Kong, Final Fantasy VII, Elden Ring, Dust Bloods, the next Zelda, whenever that is. It'll be very fun. It's going to be a very long lifespan. And yeah, long live Nintendo Switch. I'll probably be 30 by the time the next one comes out, so